Lance is saying the opposite every step of the way. He's saying don't get radicalized. Be grounded in who you are. Be confident. Don't be scared. What we're going to cover is a little weird. And this is strange. I'll ease you into this because it's a little weird if we're being honest. We have a series of Reddit posts, and we know these are Reddit posts from Lance Twiggs because we got his username over the course of the investigation, and we have one here. This is on the Jordan Peterson subreddit. This is a subreddit for fans of Jordan Peterson. How can an average person like myself avoid perilous pitfalls such as idiot? This is not him. This is someone else. We'll get to Lance's answer in a second. This is someone else writing. How can an average person like myself avoid perilous pitfalls such as ideological entanglements when even individuals with higher moral and intellectual caliber have fallen into them? Now, notice caliber is spelled correctly here, unlike when Tyler Robinson spelled it on his text message, but we're neither here nor there, people. Here is Lance's answer. I want you to listen to this and think about what we're told of his lifestyle, what we're told of who he really was. Honestly, I think everyone's going to land in these pitfalls. It's part of being human. Doing your best to recognize and remedy that is all you can do. Keep your strongest truths close to heart and don't be easily swayed in any direction without a strong and well put together reason. This is Lance Twiggs. Even then, you'll sometimes realize the environment, friends, or communities you choose to spend time with aren't helping you grow or progress. May otherwise be pushing towards an echo chamber. Being able to take a step away and reprioritize is the best you can do. If you aren't ever in a situation you don't want to be in, chances are you never go out and meet people in general. Remember that just discussing a topic doesn't mean falling into an ideological pitfall. Keep your statements and opinions in line with each other and make your own opinions based on factual evidence you have seen or read. I think the largest pitfall anyone could fall into would be to simply take to heart the opinions they see on social media. If you don't choose a side many times will choose you. Keep yourself grounded mentally and emotionally, and don't worry yourself about being infallible. Is this the Lance Twiggs we met through all this reporting? That guy sounded pretty sane. That said 3 years ago. Guys, we've been doing this a year. That was only a couple years before all this. That sounded like Nietzsche. That sounded very sane. Not that Nietzsche was sane. I'm just saying it sounded philosophical. It sounded well-written. It sounded not like the lunatic we are told Lance Twiggs was. Almost like that was an act. Almost like it was an op. Here's another Lance Twiggs post. This is, again, on the Jordan Peterson subreddit. Again, for those that don't know who Jordan Peterson is, not exactly loved and adored by radical leftists. Like, Jordan Peterson was demonized the way Andrew Tate was, the way Joe Rogan was, the way Tucker Carlson is. These are people who are demonized for telling people you have it within yourself to be better than you are. You can always get better. You can always improve. Very motivational type of guy. Here is the headline on this. This is not his headline. This is from the Daily Wire. The post he's responding to is from the Daily Wire. AMC Theaters cancels detransitioner film following trans group's deplatforming campaign. What the story's saying is AMC Theaters, theater chain in America, had a film about a detransitioner, someone who had transitioned and were now trying to go back to the way they were before, and they canceled the film. Lance commented on it. He was not amused with the topic. He was not amused with the fighting on the topic. Instead, he said, is there an actual Jordan Peterson subreddit anywhere, one that talks about his work and discusses Dr. Peterson instead of doo-doo clickbait articles? And then someone else chimed in, you have only 4 posts here. You mostly submitted to a R-drama bait subreddit. I didn't know what that means. And you post on 196. Your concern trolling is noted. And then Lance, oh no, I've read Jordan Peterson books. Listen to lots of his YouTube lectures also. I just enjoy trolling post kinda subreddits. Lance Twiggs was a Jordan Peterson guy. A Jordan Peterson guy. Not exactly a wild lunatic political leftist. This is not who Jordan Peterson is. This is not the type of people that read his books. I've read one. It was okay. It wasn't life-changing. I wanted to know what all the hubbub was about. I think I have it on my desk over there, so on my bookshelf. It was okay. 12 Rules or something. I can't remember what it was titled. It was fine. It was not good or bad. But I would never in a million years have expected anyone reading that to be like some wackadoodle leftist, some trans furry. I just wouldn't. Now, he also was active on the trans subreddits. Don't want to hide who he really was. We're showing you what we found. This is from one of those, and somebody asks, what keeps you going? What stops you from dying? Do you still have hope? What do you do when you wake up and find yourself in a body that's not yours? I need to know because I'm running out of fuel right now. Well, we all know he's a nihilistic psychopath, right? Well, hold please. This is Lance Twiggs, just not terribly long ago. For me, just the overall enjoyment of different new media still being released, along with all the old stuff I haven't sifted through, gives me more than enough dopamine. Libraries feel like endless enough. Libraries feel endless enough. They're basically infinite entertainment. Beyond that, my boyfriend. The guy was an avid reader. We're told that all he did was sit around and be a psycho and play games. He was mostly found at the library, cuddled up in the nonfiction section. Philosophy, perhaps. The Jordan Peterson aisle. I'll be in philosophy. P for Peterson. Huh? This is wild stuff. This is wild stuff. Here is a Lance Twiggs post on another trans subreddit. Apparently there's more than one. This title was questions about HRT for gender fluid. And he just tells what his research has shown. You'll have to be genetically lucky enough to get good hip growth. And no, HRT will not stop facial hair from growing. It may stop you from getting more than you have, and it will slow beard growth, but I've not heard of someone completely reversing their facial hair growth solely off of HRT. This R word here, whatever that is, has been inconsistent at best from what I've read around the internet. It should stop or slow breast growth while allowing you to continue feminization, but I've read a lot more stories of people being frustrated that this drug isn't working as well as they'd hoped, and I have of people saying it went according to plan. I've not used it, so your mileage may vary. Please read the rules wiki and go through old posts. You'll probably get better answers there than waiting for new responses. Well, isn't that awfully helpful from a total psychopath, gamer, Magic the Gathering, some sort of shoot 'em up? I don't know what he played. What about his mental capacity? Was he a snowflake? Was this the kind of guy who sat around just evil and mean and awful and just wanted people to be miserable? This guy's, I'd understand. I just don't know what to do. I'm being denied many opportunities because of transphobia. I just wanted to buy myself a ball of ice cream, and that's it. Not to think about my gender, but he got out of his way to make me feel sad. Then we get down to Lance. He said, we don't have more sympathy for him, but he didn't follow you out of the store and try to misgender you 3 more times because the first time wasn't enough of a reaction. You really leaned into being an a-hole just to get even. That doesn't sound like the way he's portrayed. I mean, he's basically telling people, grow up. Life's tough, man. Get a helmet if you need it. You're scared, get a dog. But grow up. It just doesn't sound to me like the type of person who would be around Tyler, and Tyler just being near a guy like this would become so radicalized that he would kill. Doesn't sound like it. In fact, this one's a little coarse. I don't think it cusses, but it's a little coarse. Here is another time he's telling somebody to suck it up, buttercup. This is from an anarcho-capitalism subreddit. This is a hypothesis I've had. This is not him writing. This is the one he's responding to. This is some guy named Sean 10M. Hypothesis I've had, I'm pretty confident in. Nonsense like the bathroom debate, trans people in sports, and all of that drag pushing, and in general, all the screaming trans folk you see on TV or in protests at rallies. It's all stuff that conveniently creates a divide to force trans people to the left against the right, which gets radicalized to hate them. It all seems orchestrated to create an oppressed minority to help maintain the left's power while also empowering the right to maintain the binary. Now, let me just pause right here. I could not agree with this guy more. This is not original to me, and I wish I could credit the person who said this. It wasn't terribly long ago. I heard someone say that this trans stuff came way out of left field recently, and you would be tempted to say, what the hell's this all about? Why is this all of a sudden being pushed? I mean, you're talking like 1/10 of 1% of the population, and all of a sudden it's like the single biggest civil rights issue to ever come down the pike. And comparing it to the fight black people had in the 60s, are you out of your mind? Like, this is totally different. And I heard the person say, it's almost as if the left, the populist left, the Bernie bros, were sort of trying to take over the Democrat Party. And they had a lot of conservatives that were looking over the fence and going, oh, economic populism, you say. That's not bad. We could get behind a guy like that. I don't agree with everything he says, but inflation is out of control and everything does seem to be getting completely too expensive, and young people can't buy homes and no one can afford health insurance and gas is too high. And what's going on in the world? How can we fix this? Well, the billionaire class got together and thought, well, we don't need this. They're on the verge of revolt. roll out the trans. You roll them out. Have the left start pushing it. That way the mainstream left says they're killing our movement. We need to get rid of them. And the hardcore right says we're not joining those people. And they go over to the right. It's almost as if this was happening by design. That's not original thought to me. And I did not have that thought before I heard it. So I wish I could credit the person who told me. I cannot remember who it was. It was a podcast or something I was listening to. But that's the point this guy's making. To that, Lance says, I like how you worded this. I like how you worded this. In other words, yeah, brother or sister or brister, preach on, kid. They're trying to divide us over this issue. It's not worth dividing over. Unite. We got bigger problems on our hands than if somebody wants to wear a dress. Yeah, I agree with you, Lance. Lance is my kind of Republican. I have no idea what this guy turned into, but 2 years ago, he was all right with me, at least on that issue, at least on that post. This is not who we were sold. I cannot imagine this guy coming out. Did I miss one of the comments on there? Did he say something more than once? No, he didn't. Oh. I misresponded. No, I mean, everything I said was what was written, but he actually was responding to this one. When they're showing a man, privates out, in demon makeup, reading to kids, they're not representing that community well. I'm not talking about the confused 13-year-old kid who wants to feel normal. They go find the worst of society just to hold up, just to own the right. And then he said, I like how you worded this. In other words, I see why he's hanging out on the Jordan Peterson page. Like, I have friends that think this way. Lots of them. This is not all that outside of the mainstream, frankly. And you can't imagine, after reading stuff like this, you can't imagine Tyler just living around a guy like this being, I should kill Charlie Kirk. No, Lance is saying the opposite every step of the way. He's saying, don't get radicalized. Be grounded in who you are. Be confident. Don't be scared. It's not worth it. They're trying to divide us. Stop this nonsense. Now, Lance apparently had a bad experience at church. This is the what's your experience with spiritual abuse is the topic. And then we did not click the view spoiler because it's somebody complaining about their thing. And it's really not important to the comment. This is Lance talking about his experience. Was told I was possessed by a demon. And then within 30 minutes kicked out of the house because I started laughing and I wouldn't go to the bishop for a blessing. Later found out they just didn't like me and were looking for a way to get me out of the house. Wasn't even 18 at the time. That's him talking about his parents, the ones he's currently living with in Texas. Like those are harsh words. But now all of a sudden they're letting him back. Then somebody says the whole possessed by a demon theme seems to be the go-to response from Christian parents. And he says, yeah, always my recommendation to people nowadays. If you have to deal with wacky evangelism, simply leave because you won't be able to help them and they will continue to hurt you. He's turning the other cheek. Like, I disagree with his philosophy on this. I might have agreed with his parents on the demon possession thing, but it doesn't sound like he's like, you need to fight. We gotta win this fight. We gotta take people out. We gotta revolt. No, he sounds like, okay, we'll just walk away. They're not gonna win. You're not gonna win. You're not gonna change their mind. So why bother? This is not a radicalizing guy. Not based on his public social media profile. Was he like a hardcore drinker maybe? Was that his problem? Well, let's find out. Because he's on an alcoholism subreddit. And he says, I appreciate the resources. I'll definitely read through the Alcohol Explained book. The blackout piece was solid. I didn't think about choking. I'm glad I can't fall asleep on my back. It kind of saved me there. I kind of feel like it's too late on the addiction part because I did a ton of weed earlier in my teens, and I can tell it messed with my energy and attention levels. And I mean this is the key line here, guys. I'll zoom in for this part. And I mean this in no edgy or depressing way. But I don't really see myself making it past about 25 at this rate, so I'm not too worried about the long-term effects. I think I'm going to wait until legal age to at least try any alcohol again, though. So he had a bad experience with alcohol. Sounds like he blacked out and vomited all over the place. And his response was, well, I probably don't need that anytime soon. Am I humanizing him? I'm not trying to. I'm just letting the posts speak for themselves. This is like all we could find. This is every post we could find. And then he gets political. The one time he gets political that we could find. One time he really just laid into politics. He's talking on a political compass memes. Yeah, that would make sense. I guess I don't see that because I'm American and not too much into national, let alone international politics. Oh, you're not into politics, you say? Not much into national or international politics? It's just weird for most of us who don't really care either way. You don't even care about politics? Yet we're to believe that the reason Tyler Robinson decided to up and leave the house and go take a human life, was over politics, over hate, over this issue that you don't seem to even care about, really? I have no opinions of Italians, and then I go on the internet and get immediately stereotyped, which I'm sure happens to you also. It's one of those situations where I could care less for America until I feel accused of something for being an American citizen, and then my first reaction is defense for my country. I can almost hear in the background, and I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. I mean, again, I don't show any of this to say, what a human, what a guy, what a pal, what a chum. Lance is not living a life I would want to live. But I also don't see evidence that he's living a life that we're told. And this is the constant problem with his case. We're told one thing, and then when you dig into it, it doesn't materialize.